We have our kodobap here. We have water and nuduk, of course. We are ready to be mixing our ingredients. So before we do that, I just want to get into the next topic before we do that. And that is 3 common mistakes when making also makgeolli at home. So, well, I wouldn't say making that makgeolli is just depending on a single factor. There could be many things at the same time that can influence it. But just to make things very simple, number one, it could be that you didn't steam the rice correctly. So there's a really easy concept I share with people who come and learn how to make makgeolli with me. And that is, eat the rice. And if it's good and you like it, your makgeolli will like it. And guess what? If your rice is not really delicious and you're not able to eat it and enjoy it, then your makgeolli is not going to enjoy it. So with that in mind, that's kind of, it will give you a very big clue into how you're making your makgeolli. Okay, so the next big mistake I see when people make makgeolli is they're not keeping the right temperatures. So if you're keeping it way too hot or way too cold, again, that's a very big issue. Especially now, here's the big thing. How you control the temperature can also affect in the long run how your makgeolli will taste too, and the dynamics that it gives you. But without making things complicated, you want to keep it within room temperature, if anything, or I would say even in the kind of low 20s. So anything like 21, 22 degrees Celsius, it's kind of like a safe zone for many brewers, for many makgeolli brewers. Now, I don't want to say those are the only temperatures you can keep makgeolli, especially because, you can keep things like a tanyangju, a one stage, a fermenti for longer and slower too, at much cooler temperatures, which perhaps I'm going to do with this. Probably I'm going to start fermenting this at around 18 to 17. So, and I'm just going to try and push it longer. And then that's going to give me, of course, slightly different flavor profiles, right? I would suggest if you are a beginner, just try to filter your makgeolli and drink it more fresh. So anything within 6 to 7 days. And if you feel more confident, try and pushing that a little bit more. Of course, if you are filtering your makgeolli quite on the earlier side, keep in mind there's still a lot of active yeasts, so you're gonna get a makgeolli that's more on the fizzier or carbonated side, while the makgeolli that you tend to ferment for longer and slower, those yeasts are not gonna be, on the contrary, very active. So you're gonna get much more mellow, more rounder and mellow flavors, right? Without too much carbonation too, which I intend again to do with this makgeolli. So, again, temperature is just one example of how different your makgeolli can be just by using, the same technique from the very beginning. But the thing is, again, people don't do a good job controlling the temperature. So if you are a little bit more on the, okay, I want to get this thing right, then you're going to have to maybe perhaps build a little fermentation chamber so you can keep the temperatures more controlled that way. Very good. So, so again, we talked about rice, we talked about ferment temperature, we talked about a little bit of fermentation. The other, I would say the one more thing is the nuruk. What happens sometimes with very old nuruk is that both the enzymatic power and then the yeasts, they tend to kind of die. So, you know, if your nuruk is not doing anything, then nothing's going to happen too, right? So I'm fermenting my makgeolli, and the room temperature here is at 17, so a little bit much on the cooler side. When I decide to filter this, then I'll give you guys a little bit of an update, and then yes, give you my opinions again. If you want to dive deep into all these makgeolli making steps, then don't hesitate and join our online course, and you'll find a lot of really insightful information. And perhaps I'm thinking of uploading a little bit more videos from time to time, but that's probably your number one place where you want to find all the information like this in terms of makgeolli making. So we're gonna jump into a few more videos, a few more concepts, and yes, so happy brewing.